hello and welcome to the first episode of my new series. I'm very, very excited to start it. And my first guest that I'm very happy to welcome to my podcast is Flory Garcia, my dear friend, a wonderful artist and a photographer. Hello, Flory.
Hi, Katya. It's such a pleasure and a joy for me to be here, to be your first guest. This is super exciting for me.
In this episodes, we are going to talk about different things, but mostly we will be concentrating on music that we both like because we both belong to the same fandom of Queen and of Brian May. And I also hope that we will talk about other interests that Flory has and her creativity and how she actually shows her love towards this music and these musicians through her creativity, through her art, and through her photography. The first thing that I wanted to ask you, Flory, if that's all right, maybe to tell a couple of words about yourself, because I know a little bit about you, but our listeners don't. So where are you from? And, what do you like to do?
Well, I am from Paraguay and I'm 22 years old. I'm going to turn 23 in a few months. And as you probably know, and most people do, I like to draw. I have a profound passion for art and photography, and especially for stereo photography. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. My passion for drawing and art goes back to 2014, more or less. And yes, I've been trying to practice and learn more ever since. And I find a lot of inspiration from Queen and especially Brian, like you mentioned, that we have this love and passion in common.
Could you tell me a little bit about how did you actually start to draw? I know that you created a lot of Queen-related and Brian-related arts and drawings. I understand from what you said that you drew before as well. So did you have any particular topics, or did you have any inspiration, or maybe a different fandom that inspired you to start drawing?
Not exactly. Back then, in 2014, like I told you, I used to have a few friends, artist friends, that inspired me to maybe give art a try. I've always enjoyed drawing, but I never did it the way I do it now, in more like a realistic way.
So you drew more realistically before, yes? And,
yeah, it was mainly realism at the time. I used to draw portraits of different people, and at the time I used to get a lot more commissions than I actually get now, because back then it was new. People were discovering the fact that I like to draw, and friends here and there, well, not so many, not few friends used to ask me to draw them, and they used to commission me then. I remember making drawings of David Bowie, Prince. I was experimenting a lot, and later, I got into the Queen fandom, and I found a lot of inspiration there. And I felt even more motivated to draw. And I also met a lot of wonderful people, wonderful artists that inspired me a lot as well.
Well, I can completely, relate to this, because the reason why I asked if you were in other fandoms as well, because that's how it worked for me. I write, and when I fall in love with with a band or with a TV series, because I'm a TV series fan as well, I need some kind of a way to talk about it. So I used to write about TV series. I used to write about other Russian rock band that I was a great fan of, and the only difference for me was that I was writing in my own language in Russian.
Well, I was a fan of other singers and musicians, but it was like on and off. I wasn't really into fandom. I found a home in Queen, actually. So that's where I get most of my inspiration from these years.
Yes, yes, I completely understand that. So, how did it happen for you? So, was it some song that brought you into Queen, or some, I don't know, some image? Because for me, it was actually going to a city festival and hearing a children's choir singing Bohemian Rhapsody. And so after that, I just, of course, I knew Queen, and of course, I loved Queen before, but for me, it was like a trigger so that just brought me into this. How was it for you? Was it gradual? Was it like suddenly, a sudden thing that made you fall in love with Queen?
Well, my journey with Queen started back in 2012. Well, I was watching a local talent show, and there was a guy. I think his name was Juan, and he made. At the time, I thought it was brilliant. He made a wonderful rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was obsessed. I fell in love with the song, and after that, I tried to make some research about that song and Queen. So after listening to the original version, I was blown away by the song. I had probably listened to it way before, but at that time, at that very moment, I did it consciously, and I fell in love. I fell in love with composition, Freddie's voice, that groundbreaking guitar solo that blew my mind. That was the first step for me that made me actually fall in love with Queen.
Yeah.
And after that, I also started listening to more of their songs, and I was hooked.
Yeah. yeah, you cannot stop. I know that, you just start,
I was addicted.
Yeah, playing all YouTube videos that you can find. Yeah, that's what happened to me. But it's amazing that for both of us, Bohemian Rhapsody was this trigger.
Yes, I think that was a common factor for many of us to fall in love with this band. I don't think there is a proper word to describe it. You can only feel it. And it's really hard to put your feelings, these kind of feelings, into words.
So what was the moment when you started actually drawing Queen art? So did you start doing it when you started, actively listening to Queen, or was it a little bit later?
Much later, actually. At the time, they became officially my favorite band, but I wasn't in the fandom. I wasn't in the fandom back then. I used to have a friend that from 2012 to 2013 introduced me even more to the band. And Brian, she used to talk to me about him, and that's how I got to know him. Yeah, I was listening to their music nonstop prior to that year, but I got into the fandom in that year. If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Flory, besides being an artist, she is also a photographer and a stereo photographer. So many of our people in our fandom, they are stereo photographers. And the reason behind this is because Brian May inspired all of us to try it out, because he is a stereo photographer himself. He's also a collector of stereo photography, and he's also the head of the London Stereoscopic Company. So both Flory and I are trying this out and learning how to do it. So Flory, I just wanted to ask you, how did you start taking stereo photos? What kind of inspired you to do this?
Well, when I followed Brian mid-2018, I remember seeing those double pictures, and I didn't really know what was going on there. Why did he place them side to side? And then I understood that those were stereo photos, but I didn't really know how they worked yet until I remember the exact date. It was January 3rd. And
wow.
he shared, I remember he shared a picture of Ultima Thule, I remember.
Oh, yes, I remember that too.
He first shared it in parallel and then in cross-eyed. And I remember that in the description of the cross-eyed version, he was explaining how to view these 3D pictures. He explained how to cross your eyes, and I was trying to put into practice what he was explaining there. Suddenly it worked. I was impressed. I was shocked. that I could actually see the 3D effect. And after that, I tried to take my own, but I wasn't officially a part of the stereo community yet. It wasn't until I got my copy of Queen in 3D, and I was fascinated by all the stereo photos. And he also explained how to take these pictures. As you know, of course, those stereos in the book are in parallel, and you can only see them with the light owl. Well, the Spanish version I got brought a light owl instead of the yellow owl that we know. And it was still super incredible. It was fascinating. And well, after that, I decided to officially start making and taking my own. I had to make a lot of mistakes. It was a learning curve that I was willing to learn, of course.
Yeah, I think it was
years.
Yeah, I think when I look at my first stereos, I can see that they're completely flat, like they have no depth, and of course the framing is all mixed up. I had the stereoscope. I also got Queen in 3D book. It was the first edition, so it had this, like this big owl stereoscope. So I was trying to view, through the stereoscope. So I would take this first stereos and look at them through the stereoscope. And I thought that they had some depth, but now I can see that they did. But still, it was such a thrill just to be able to do it, because I thought, Dr. Brian May, he can do it, but I cannot do it.
Yeah, I understand. After having my first contact with stereoscopy, I wanted to learn more and to practice more, of course. And I obviously made countless of mistakes in the process. Sometimes I look at my own stereos and it feels so weird. They look so weird. I mean, the framing, the alignment, most of them were off.
Yeah, I think we all went through this stage. So what I really loved about the way Brian promoted this is that he had this video on YouTube where he actually showed how to do it, and it looked so easy. Like it makes
it look so easy.
Yeah.
When you want to try, there are a lot of things that you have to keep in mind, like distance, the alignment, the balance. I mean, the baseline. You get the hang of it after a while, but it's still tricky, even for me. I've been taking stereo photos for over 2 years now, and I still find it hard at times. Sometimes when I'm taking stereo photos, I think to myself, this is gonna look pretty cool, but then I assemble them, and it's not what I thought it would be like. And I often get disappointed at myself, because I take. On a daily basis, I take a lot of potential stereo photos, but then I put them together, and it's not what I thought it would be.
So again, just to explain to our listeners, our community of stereo and Queen people, we all mostly post on Instagram, and that's how we share the art. That's where Flory shares her art, and that's where we share our photography and stereo photography. And that's where actually Brian also shares his tips and his own stereos, which is always it's again a thrill to see. I love when he posts his own stereos, because I also learn a lot from them, and it's great to see it from his point of view. When you look at the stereos when you take your stereos and when you look at the stereos of other people, why is it so important for you? What is it what actually propels you to keep on doing this?
Stereoscopy is fascinating because, at least for me, I am pretty sure you will relate to this. Stereoscopy offers you a window to a world.
Yes.
A window to places I've never been to. I follow a lot of super talented stereographers from all over the world. And it's so great to see their world through their eyes in 3D. I find it so fascinating to be able to, it makes you feel like you're there. It's basically like a window that allows you to jump into this place and suddenly it makes you feel like you can reach out whatever they took a picture of, or even themselves when they share those beautiful stereo selfies.
Yeah,
it makes you feel so close to them. It's wonderful to be able to travel all over the world like this.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's like portals, all those
Like a
little
portal,
portals like you can see on your phone, and it's amazing. It's
so immersive.
Immersive, yes, very immersive. So I think that's what really distinguishes the stereo photography just from mono photography, even though, mono photography can also be amazing and immersive. But for me personally, I think stereo photography really draws you in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wanted actually to chat a little bit about favorite songs, maybe. So would you like to talk about, I don't know, some Queen song, a Brian song, or, Freddie song that you like that means a lot to you? I know it's very hard, just one of them. I'm not saying what is your favorite song, because I wouldn't be able to answer it as well. But
there are so many songs. There are so many songs. Lately, with the current re-release of Back to the Light, I've been revisiting all of these timeless gems.
Yes.
And I'll mention a couple of favorites I have there in this album specifically.
So which ones do you love most of all?
Well, the entire album is amazing. It's wonderful. But a couple of songs that are really close to my heart are, for example, Let Your Heart Rule Your Head.
Yes.
I absolutely love that one.
Yes, it's so playful and so happy. Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful and so joyful. And we have a contrast that is Last Horizon.
Yes.
I don't really know if there is a proper word to explain how powerful this song is. I mean, he's not singing in there, but his guitar is singing so beautifully.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes I think to myself, this is the song that you listen to when the gates of heavens open up.
I agree.
Heavenly.
It's amazing. I was not even aware that it was from Back to the Light album, because I just heard it as his guitar solo. I think it was the tour of 2018, which I just followed through live streams and heard him playing it. And I think someone just mentioned that it's called The Last Horizon. I was just blown away. But it's interesting that Brian himself, during this release day, which was just a week ago, which he called the Bride Day on Bride TV, he said that it was an embryonic version of The Last Horizon. So I kind of understand why he says this, because it's, I think now it has more weight. I don't know, I also, it's very hard to find the proper words, but when he plays it now on stage, or even when he played it for us on his micro concerts last year, I feel like he added more into this, even though the tune is the same, but the way he plays it, I don't know if you would agree with me. Yeah. But,
I understand. And in fact, we have this studio version that is in Back to the Light, but of course that version touches my heart and it brings me to tears every time. But whenever I hear and watch him play that song live, it's a whole different thing. It actually sends shivers down my spine whenever he plays it live. It's magical. And when he played it on one of his micro concerts last year, it was so emotional. I was actually tearing up watching that and listening to it.
Yes, me too. I was actually hoping that he will play it eventually.
Yes, I was crossing my fingers. Yeah, and when he did it, I was so happy.
Yes, no, it's an amazing song. And I was actually on this album, which I was just listening on Spotify. There is this version which is called "Too Much Love Will Kill You," a guitar version without vocals, where he just plays everything with his guitar. And it's just amazing, and that's exactly what you say. Yes, like the guitar is his voice, and sometimes it says so much about the song. Of course, we know what the song is about, and it's also like it's so beautiful and so heartbreaking, maybe even more heartbreaking for me. So
yeah, of course,
yeah.
it's a heartbreaking song.
Yeah, yeah.
As we know, he composed that piece when he was going through a very difficult time. And of course, we can't compare our situation to his, but it does feel like a close friend. This song has gotten me out of really dark times, because there are times when you can put into words what you're feeling, and suddenly you find a song that does it perfectly. That's what happens when I listen to Too Much Love Will Kill You. It really takes the words out of my mouth and explains my emotions even better than I could.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I agree, and I think that's the power of music, and that's the same with me. Yes, so like I can sometimes music or a song helps me to put my emotions into words or into music. Yeah, I feel a bit better, even if I'm really depressed, I'm really upset.
Yes, you feel like you have a shoulder to put your head on.
Yes,
It feels like a hug. Like there is someone who actually understands how you feel, like a
yes.
friend.
Yes, and I think this actually brings me to another question. Probably I don't know if it's the last question, but we'll see. What does it mean to you to be a fan of a band or of Brian of Queen? You know, in terms of you as a listener or you as an artist, you as a photographer. What do you think?
Well, it does mean so much more than I can put into words, because what I found in Queen is something that I haven't found in any other band. That's what makes them unique, and especially Brian, because he's probably the most inspiring person I've ever met. Can I say that?
Yes,
I've never really
absolutely.
met him, but in a way that I've ever known. I have found a refuge in them, in him, in their music, in their songs, their words. They have inspired me in countless ways that I can't really dimension. And it's been like that for years, and they keep inspiring me in so many ways. And I find that so beautiful. And you can tell that because they have inspired so many generations in all these years. We've had over 50 years of Queen.
Yes.
And they continue to inspire people of all ages, all beliefs, races. It doesn't matter. That's how powerful they are.
Yes, yes. I think they are really special, not only because of their musical skills and geniuses. They are amazing songwriters, and their music is fantastic and timeless. But also, I think because we as fans experience probably the same thing that their fans experienced in the 80s, in the 70s, or like in the 90s, the post-Queen period. This amazing connection of the band to the fans. I think that's, for me, that's this attention that Brian has pays to his fans. That's really amazing, and I don't think there is anyone else. Like I've been I've been fan of different bands. It never was like this. Yes, it's very personal, very attentive.
It's so intimate.
Yes, yes. And he has this real interest towards us, like to maybe not like to us personally, but to his fandom, what they are doing, their creativity, their art.
No, absolutely. That's something that means a lot to me as a fan. Not only as a Queen fan, but also as a Brian fan. He's really wonderful with his fans, and you can really tell that he appreciates them. And what we do for him. He's so humble and inspiring in so many ways.
Yes, yes.
I could. It will take me the whole day to explain what he means to me, and I'm pretty sure that so many of us can relate to this emotion, to this feeling. He makes us a part of his daily life. He's pretty much an open book with us, and I find it so fascinating because considering everything he has accomplished throughout his life, and he's still so humble, so kind, so generous, so everything.
Yes.
And that says a lot about him.
And I think what's also really important is that he actually provokes us to create our own stereos, or whatever we can do. I think he does it all the time with his jam with Bry, or with stereos, or by reposting art. Of course, people get inspired, create more. Again, it's something very unique. Yeah. So he doesn't want us just to be his listeners, but he also wants us to be active creators. And that's great, because that's what happened to me as well. He inspired me to start writing in English. It's something, again, I never thought I would dare to do.
I think that's wonderful. And you are such an amazing writer.
Oh, thank you so much.
The same way he inspires you, you inspire me. You have no idea how much you inspire me with your words.
Well, you inspire me with your drawings, really, some.
You're so sweet.
Yeah, Flory and I did one of my essays together. So I just wrote it, and Flory provided her wonderful drawings, and it's one of my favorite.
I still feel so happy that
I'm very proud of this.
Decided to use my art.
Yes.
For your essay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me about this. It was really great. And please, if you're listening to this, please check out Flory's Instagram. It's I love 80s. Yes, is
I love 80s. Yes,
yeah, I love 80s. So you can find it, just one word, and 80s in numbers. So I will put it into the notes. And please tune into the next episode. So thank you so much. Thank you, Flory. It was great talking to you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Once in a lifetime opportunity. You are amazing, really.
So are you. So thank you so much, and lots of love, and see you around.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sending much love. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.